Hey everybody, welcome to the P7 worksheet. In this case, just like we did on the P5 worksheet, we are working on simplifying the expression. Remember, expression means there's no equal sign. If there was an equal sign, it'd be considered an equation. An expression means there's no equal sign, but there are variables and numbers involved. Now, we cannot, like we did in P6, we can't go in and substitute in place of the variables. We don't know what the x's are worth, so we can't replace them with numbers. That is not the option in this case. We just have to put things together that can go together. And so that's what this worksheet's all about, is finding things that can go together. And so if we look at this, we say, oh, 4x, what can it go together with? Well, this is a 4x cubed. Do you notice they have the same variable, but not the same exponent? So I cannot put them together. Right? Same variable, same exponent I can put together. 4x minus 7x. Those guys can get put together. And a 4 and a minus 7 make a negative 3. And I follow it up with the variable that it's worth. All right. Now, we look at combining the x cubed. 4x cubed can combine with, well, this minus 5x cubed has the same variable and the same exponent. So I have a 4, positive 4, minus 5. I get negative 1 x cubed. Now I do not have to write the 1 because it's assumed to be there. If you want to put a 1 in there, certainly do that. This is our result. We can't do more than putting those guys together. Now, something we talked about in the P5 worksheet is that what happens when you have your terms here, one of the things to get in a good habit of is to always start putting your biggest exponent first. And so in this case, our minus x to the third would be a great thing to have first, followed by the minus 3x after it. That would be an acceptable way to write the answer as well. All right, moving on. Question number 3. 3n to the second power cannot combine with the minus 8. Don't have the same variable, don't have the same power. 3n to the second power can combine with 8n to the second power. Those guys add up 11n to the second. 3 plus 8 is 11, n squared. The minus 8 doesn't have a variable, but neither does the minus 3, so those guys can combine together. Negative 8 and a negative 3 together make a negative 11, or negative 8 minus 3 if you prefer. And that's as much as we can do. We can't combine these guys together. They don't have the same variable, don't have the same power. On question number 5, notice we keep getting a little bit more complicated, Now, up above, I mentioned that we always want to do the biggest exponent first. So something I do that has helped me over the years is when I have a situation where I know I'm going to end up with different terms, I like to go to the term that has the biggest exponent first to start with. And so I'm going to start with the v to the fourth power. And I'm going to combine those guys together. The 8v to the fourth and the 8v to the fourth makes 16v to the fourth power. All right, and so I'm done using those. And now my next biggest exponent is a variable that doesn't have an exponent, which means it has an exponent of 1, if you will. And so the 8v and the 8v, those guys can combine together. 8v plus 8v is 16, and we follow that up with its variable. And so those guys have been used up. And the only thing I have left is a plus 1, which has to be part of the answer. I don't get to just drop it, but it doesn't have anything combined with. All right, we'll go a little bit more quickly on number 7 here. We have a 6k to the fourth and a minus 1k to the fourth. Remember, that's a 1 in front of there. So 6 and a minus 1 make 5, and we keep k to the fourth. All right. Now, the next biggest exponent is a 1 here on this k, but I don't have any other k terms. And so the plus 2k has to be part of my answer. And I'm done using that term, which leaves only 2 terms left, and that is the 5 and the minus 8. Neither of them have a variable. They're like terms. I put those two guys together. 5 minus 8 is a negative 3. And I forgot to circle my answers on these guys, but you know the drill. And last but not least, on number 9, we have a whole bunch of stuff going on. All right, biggest exponent, x to the third. I'm putting those guys together first. 8 and 2 make 10. I leave it x to the third because I'm adding. I have an 8x to the second. and a minus 1x to the second, if you will. Negative 1x to the second. So 8 minus 1 is 7. Positive 7x to the second. And last but not least, I have a 5 and a 1. Those guys are like terms because neither of them have a variable. 5 and 1 makes 6. Gives me my result. And that's the best I can do. Now, if you had it rearranged because you did it out of a different order, nothing wrong with that. Just starting to get in the habit of doing biggest exponent first is going to be something that'll help you really, really well down the road. All right, your job, do the even numbers. Send those in to me. We'll get you rolling on the reassessment. Good luck.